all the time. In every second, you are on the borderline. In every second, you are between life and death. Who says that death is not waiting behind that door right now? You need to learn to let go. Ultimately, that is the only way.
The following talk is from the first time I ever met Master Shi Heng Yi at the Shaolin Temple back in 2021. In this talk, we discussed the topics of dealing with anger, grief, distractions, rude people, and Memento Mori, which is the Latin phrase, remember death. The Stoics talk about Memento Mori. It was interesting to hear Master Shi Heng Yi's thoughts on these Stoic topics and how he thought that these can help us in the modern age. Something I am very proud and excited to share with you all, it's something I know will help you all greatly, is I wrote my first book. It's The Everyday Stoics, Simple Rules for a Good Life. And you can pre-order it in the link in the description. This book is based off of Stoic teachings and how to use them practically to live the good life, how to improve your life and become a better person. So it's 11 rules. You know, the thing is, a decade ago when I first discovered Stoicism, I was a builder, a labourer on a bricklaying site. And I was very shy, very anxious, had no confidence, very miserable. You know, I always had my head down. I wasn't confident to talk to people. I was even scared to do nice things, like doing a kind favour for someone because I was worried about judgment or being embarrassed. Over the decade, I learned much of these Stoic principles that I incorporated into my life through trial and error, through effort and getting myself out of my comfort zone using these Stoic principles and teachings. And I believe it's the Stoic blueprint that has taken me from being this shy, anxious individual to being who I am today. I feel confident as a person in direction. I feel confident in communication, and I don't worry half as much as I did. Not even 90% of my worry is gone compared to what I was before. 90% of fears are gone. I just feel more sure of myself, more relaxed. And I put that down to the blueprint that Stoicism laid out for me. So it took me a decade to do that. But I've condensed this decade of this Stoic education that I've took, and I put it into a book, and I know it will help many of you. So you can pre-order it in the link below. And thank you. I hope you enjoy this talk with Master Shi Heng Yi. I'd like to know your philosophy on anger and how to deal with anger.
To try and make it simple, the only thing at the moment, what I consider as useful is, it's not so important if you are able to define what is anger. The main thing to remember is, don't ever take any decision where you feel it's been taken from a feeling out of anger. So ultimately, in the monastery, we used to say, don't take decisions while you're emotional. So, and anger in that term belongs to one of the emotional states that a human can find himself in. But especially this anger is one that has very destructive consequences afterwards in case you are not sticking to this proposal to don't take decisions while you're emotional. Because you could burn the wood that you have saved for many, many winters just in one night. This is what this anger, in a way, is doing. What exactly now it is, I cannot tell you. So I find it difficult to describe what this anger in terms of words are.
So how, if you feel yourself getting angry, how would you be able to cope with that or deal with the anger?
Okay.
So that you don't act on the anger.
My body is preparing to get active. That sometimes can mean the blood circulation starts to increase, which means my heart starts to beat faster. The respiratory system starts to prepare itself in order to perform. So anger in a way means you are getting ready. emotionally or mentally getting ready, but also physically getting ready. The problem is that the reaction itself, so how my body is reacting, it's quite something useful. It's useful if there would be a real threat now coming. The thing is, somebody just insulted you. He just said something to you that you didn't like, what he told you. But this is not about life or death. This is just about he attacked your ego, maybe. And this attacking your ego maybe leads to the same physical reactions that normally you would have if somebody physically attacks you. But they are still different. And therefore, I would say, this is where you need to uncondition yourself again to even not get angry because of things that have nothing to do with your existential fear or your existential security, even though the reactions might be the same. Yeah.
Okay, so in the world, there's obviously a lot of distractions and people that are going to be rude, and then there's the social media and news that distract you. How do you keep grounded? How do you keep your inner peace? And how do you keep your harmony while there's so much noise going on around us?
The easiest way to not get distracted, to not lose anything of yourself when you are watching or paying attention to these things, is by not spending too much time with them. That is really the easiest way. Yeah. If you have the chance to just stay away for some time, then do it also, because every time when somebody is caught inside a bubble, you never know that you're in the bubble. Yeah, and therefore it's necessary sometimes to change your perspective and dive into another bubble. Here in the monastery, if you stay here for too long, you are going to be in a monastic bubble. Other people who are maybe in the making career, you are like in the career bubble. Yeah. Other people who are in the filming industry, they are in the filming industry bubble. Sometimes you need to leave your bubble in order actually to then finally see, this is where I'm caught in all the time. So, and once you are able to switch the perspectives like this, and also to understand in what you are actually embedded in, then it becomes possible to adjust. Because then you can see, okay, in this bubble I am disturbed or I am influenced by these type of aspects, including the social media, including all of these things where you say it's going around in the world. But social media, yes, or the news around. Yes, I know that these are news, and I know that these are opinions like from other people or from other places and from other locations. But at the same time, I also know that it's just written on the paper and it's just appearing in front of my eyes. But at the same time, I also know what I feel right now while I watch them. And so I just very carefully pay attention. Why would this feeling that this newspaper tries to put on me, why should that be more important than anyway the feeling of everything is fine for me at the moment? Why would I exchange that? And this is what I pay attention on. And this is why I can read a lot of things, I can see a lot of things. And the question is always, why would you now, once you are stable for yourself, once you are peaceful for yourself, why would you exchange this state just because of a newspaper article, just because of any post, just because of any small message? No. Unless you say, because this one is a quite crucial one. Oh, yeah, but then it's your decision. But unless there comes really such a hardcore message or whatsoever, I would not so easily give away your peace. Give away that your heartbeat is calm. Because when the heart beats too quickly, well, then it means life's just running out too quickly. To have a slow breath, to have a deep and strong heartbeat, this is important to remain alive for quite some time. So it's not good to put yourself under stress that is not necessary to put yourself in.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier the phrase Memento Mori, which is a reminder of your own mortality. And I think a lot of people get anxiety from thinking about death, and it restricts them from living their life to the fullest. I'd like to know your opinion on that reminder of your own mortality and your thoughts on death.
Yes, so to say it, at the moment, I think many people think that right now we are alive, so that means we are alive, we are living this life right now, but one day there comes this death, where then everything is finished. The way how it is drawn in our mind means right now we are still alive, but when this death comes, our life is ending. So what is it that we are hoping for? That this death, whatever it is, comes very late. Comes very, very, maybe somewhere there where we don't face it anymore. But when is this going to happen? Now you say, maybe I get 70. Who says that death is not waiting behind that door right now? Who says that death is not happening? I don't wish it for you. But it's not, honestly, it's not happening now because suddenly you got a stroke, something finished. Who gives you the guarantee that this death is not already here? Meaning, it's every second that it can happen. It's not the illusion that now we are alive and later maybe comes the death. All the time, in every second, I think, you are on the borderline. In every second, you are between life and death. And I don't know in whose hands it is. But when one day it just stays with this, then this is going to happen. No, regardless of what plans you have made. And so to, in a way, live in this attitude, or maybe how this sentence can be understood, if I hear it like this, it is really just meaning, be aware that it can happen every second. Be aware that it's following you in each footstep. So what does it mean? It means, be careful what is your last words that you speak to your sister, that you speak to your brother, that you speak to your friends. It might be your last words that you speak to them. So in the moment where you realize it could be my last action right now that I do, having this type of thought on the mind, it could be your last, hopefully makes you wake up to really focus on the things that are important for you. Because many things are starting to fall away when you know already, when somebody tells you, look, you only have 1 more week to live. Many problems that at the moment people are caring about, they would just disappear. Because then they wake up and realize this shortness of life. How precious it actually is that we are able to be here. And constantly waiting for something better, to happen, well, the best thing that could have happened is that you're alive. that is already one very, very good thing. Because many people don't even have this, what we have, to be alive. Many people wished they could just simply like sit somewhere. Well, they can't sit somewhere because they have not been born. So this is like a type of, it's pretty philosophical. Nevertheless, I think it has also some practical relevance to it, which is just like this. Appreciate the time that you have.
Brilliant. How would you recommend someone deals with the loss of either a loved one or possessions or materialistic objects?
Okay, so materialistic objects, I really think will somehow be covered already when I talk about the loss of a person. And the way how in our tradition we are normally handling losses is we're having at our place at home normally an altar. It's a small, it's a small altar even for the parents that are that for your ancestors. So that means on the one way to honor them still, because you are existing because of them. Now, when it comes to the parents, but anyone that you appreciated very much in being your lifetime, I think it's a nice thing to honor them by having a small altar somewhere in your place. You don't even need to be religious for that. It's just that for us, you have like a bowl where you can put the incense stick, and behind there you normally have the picture then of that person. And so what is it that is like still staying alive? Number one, it's the memories. And number two, and now this is the important part, for what do you do the altars for? It is to sometimes take your time and invest your living lifetime and use the power of the mind to connect. Because there is, besides that, I don't see anything else that you could do. Until you also enter to the other side, there is nothing else to do than to sometimes use the power of your imagination, use the power of your own mind, and connect as good as you can. At least this is something that can give you the feeling of somebody who is lost, still is very close. There is no other practice at the moment I know about that is able to make it in a similar way. So that means to really train your mind, and what you put on the mind, it's real. With your thoughts, you create the world. You don't trust in your thoughts? Well, this is your business. If you trust in your thoughts, who wants to tell you it's not real? If you don't doubt your thoughts, who else wants to tell you that they don't believe what you're saying? Your mind is powerful. And this is where I would say this is the second part of the story why we have altars. But besides that, there's nothing else to do. Then when life is giving you a new opportunity, sometimes it's good to take it. And when this lifetime takes something from you, you need to learn to let go. Ultimately, that is the only way what we're able, or what we should also learn. Learn and let go. On the other side, you could also think about no matter who you, let's say, lost there. I think these people, when they would still be able to see you, they would never want you to suffer because of them. They would want that you keep going, but maybe not forget about them. And so this is what you do. You never forget about them, but you keep going. Yeah.
Do you just want to explain where we can find you online?
So I think because of the shortness of time, I really had to try to squeeze the answers together. But in case you're more interested to actually know more ideas and the way how our way of life, how our view upon life is, I think you will find plenty of different videos already. Maybe you can just link them below in this video, and then afterwards I will just send it to you.
I know many of you have probably just discovered Stoicism and are quite curious about what Stoicism is. And that's what I do on this channel. I share the wisdom of Stoicism, but I make it simple and practical because it can be quite confusing. I do not have the education. I never went to college to learn these things. I went to university, you know, I was a bricklayer. But I took the Stoic literature, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca. I took the big three and I read them every day and incorporated the wisdom into my life. And over the decade, it took me a long way. I've grown tremendously as a person, and you can't see that journey, but believe me, it was a great journey. I feel very proud of who I've become. I feel like I've grown a great amount. And the reason I'm proud is because I just feel relaxed. I feel sure of myself. I don't feel this constant tension, these limits we put on ourselves to stop ourselves, to hold ourselves back from doing things, from truly living. So the journey I chronicled in the book, The Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life, hopefully you can read my journey. You read that journey and it will take you a long way. And I'm not just talking about confidence. I know many of you are watching this are confident. I know many of you are watching this don't worry half as much as I used to. I know many of you don't have anxiety or you don't struggle with certain problems. I struggled with pretty much every single problem you can struggle with. And it's took me a long way. You know, I struggle with confidence, anxiety, stress, worry, sadness, all these kind of things. And I know it's normal for young people to deal with these things, but Stoicism was my guide at a time when I needed it, and it took me a long way. And I'm sure if you have some of these problems, it will take you a long way. But also, what I wanted to say is Stoicism is very misunderstood. People think it's about being this alpha male, and that's all it is, about being cold, being emotionless, getting your head down, doing your thing, ignoring everyone. That is not what Stoicism is. You know, it's a myth that Stoicism is this, and the misrepresentation just comes from the idea that is alluring, that you can not care, you can be strong, you can be confident, and Stoicism does all that for you. But the true message is to live in accordance with nature. That's the telos of Stoicism. And the point is, ultimately, in simple words, it's to be a good person. And this does require confidence. It requires courage, as the Stoics say. So you become a good person, and a byproduct of that is becoming this confident, strong, what some people consider an alpha male. But it's far from being what you think it is. And I know it will help many of you to be strong and confident, to be kind, happy, relaxed. It provides everything for you. So thank you for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos, then subscribe. If you want more from me, head over to my Instagram at TheEverydayStoic, at MulliganBrothers. I share a lot there daily. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.